Welcome to Members Only, a show featuring CMAC members and the projects they produce. My name is Johnny Pacina, and I'll be your host today. In this edition of Members Only, we'll be talking to Alton Williams, the producer of Valley Madness, and Dustin Piontek, the producer of Reptile Dysfunction. First up is Alton Williams, the producer of Valley Madness. Let's check out a clip.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome here to this high school basketball matchup between the Central High Grizzlies and the Clovis West Golden Eagles, brought to you by Valley Madness. Halftime lead. And it was really a fun half between these two teams so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
We wanted to beat them real bad. You know, we went out there, executed the game plan, did our job, and came out with the victory.
My name is Eddie McFall. I go to Central High School. I'm a 12th grader, and I've been playing varsity for 2 years now.
To go, Central with the first points of the third quarter. They trail by 4.
It's great to see Cash Williams get some points early. We'll see if maybe he'll be able to pour them on as we look at the replay and see Cash, the simple floater, right down the middle of the paint.
Golden Eagles trying to get it down low to Graves.
Nothing like some quality hoops there, Alton. Thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate the time you're taking to be on the show.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm sure those of us who haven't seen that clip before or know what you do are definitely curious now after seeing that. You have pretty much a full-fledged production of basketball, high school basketball. So tell us a little bit about what that production entailed and how you came up with it.
It was really tough finding the right people in order to create that entire production. But once I was able to find people who were really passionate at what they did, it became really easy.
They know they start, you know, they make those connections. You know people already that want to be a part of your production. And in your case, you're already aware of some people you wanted to utilize, right?
Correct.
And I'll even talk about a story too when I was sitting at the front desk one day and you came up and you were like, you know, I really want to do this basketball production, but I don't know where to start, right? And you started basically from the ground up, right, at that point.
Yes.
And that was really fun to see that growth that you had, because at first you were really curious, you wanted to be involved, and then you took the necessary steps to get there, right?
Correct.
So talk about, after we had that discussion, what was the next step after that? I think you talked to Caesar, right? Is that how it worked out?
Yes. Well, first I had to get the project approved. That was first and foremost. And then I spoke to Caesar, and we had a meeting, and we talked about how difficult it was to pull off a project like this, specifically because no one has ever come in and asked that question.
Right. I think you're one of the first actually that wanted to do their own produced basketball game.
Exactly. Exactly. And I didn't know I was the first person to try to do it, so it was kind of intimidating, because I was like, okay, so how are we going to do this? So just getting things systemized and understanding everyone's roles, and then just piecing everyone together based off of their strengths, and then that really helped out a lot, because I have an eye for finding people who are good at certain things and have passions for what they want to excel in, and so just placing those people in those positions helped out a lot.
Definitely, and I think part of your crew too was, if I'm not mistaken, some CMAC volunteers, right?
Yes.
Then some people you knew of. We even had replay in there too in the clip I saw. So
it's very difficult. I learned that in that same day of the production of the game. I sat with, I believe it was John, I can't remember his last name, Perez, I believe.
Oh, yes.
John Perez, he's really good at replays. I believe that was the first time he's done replays. And
you just found that he was good at it.
Yeah, we found out he was pretty good at it. So every time I have a game, I hit up John Perez.
That's great. And, you know, even as a CMAC staff, we were able to at least do Fresno City basketball games, which we also try to involve, you know, City College students and Fresno State students to be a part of the crew too. And again, to your credit, like you came in, you knew what you wanted to do. I think you even mentioned you wanted to do it live initially, right?
I did. I'm super ambitious to a fault, but at the time I wanted to go live. And I thought that would be pretty cool. Not to mention that I went to Central High School, so I wanted to put something really special on for just that team, especially winning Valley Championship the year prior. And so I talked to the coach. I said, hey, look, over the summer, actually, I had this idea. And I said, hey, look, I want to put you guys on TV. I want to make it live. And I don't think he believed me when I told him at all. He was like, yeah, all right, Alton.
We'll see when it happens.
Exactly. Right? And so I said, you'll see it one day. And so I was able to to bring that to fruition. Though it wasn't live because there was some pre-production stuff that had to go into it that was really difficult. But I have some plans in the future, big plans.
Awesome.
They won't all be live, but pre-production will be on point. I'll make sure that everything's
Speaking of the pre-production too, it looks like not only was it just the game, you even had a break, right? There was like a break at halftime. Yeah. Well, there had to be because, you know, the team was they're on their halftime. But you decided to do interviews with the players, right?
Yes.
So how far in advance did you have to schedule that out before the game?
Well, me and Caesar went out to Central High School about 3 months prior to that game that you saw. So we had it all mapped out. We did a site survey, spoke with the athletic director, the district athletic director, got approvals. And I had the idea of just running some interviews because I want to spice things up. I want to change the whole entire basketball scene. And I feel as though when people know more about the athletes, people know their stories, people know the rivalries and how intense they are between certain schools, then they get more into the game. So yeah, we shot that probably 2 weeks before the game. Wow. And we invited some players over. We try to get both sides. As you see Central's kids were interviewed. Yeah. We try to get Clovis West, but they're really busy. Their coach, they didn't have enough time.
They didn't have time. Yeah,
no.
There's so much to do. But you managed to make the time to do that. And
fortunately,
speaking of the rivalry, that's a big one, right? Those two teams?
For sure. Yeah. I know because I played at Central High School.
Okay, so
Clovis West, oh man, we go at it.
That's and that was again a very great production. So what does the future entail? You said perhaps have some other ideas.
I did.
Basketball games
I do. Yeah. I do. I plan on doing a media tour, 10 to 12 games next year, and I have a whole entire branding, like pretty much a whole marketing thing going around it. And so I'm going to pretty much brand the whole entire production of all these games and try to turn basketball into something
we're happy
bigger.
To be here for you too. CMAC, you know, we want to make sure we're a available resource, and I think you're a perfect example of what members can do. Here, you have the idea, you put in the time for the pre-production. We all have busy lives, you know. That's the one thing we always talk about. People are like, I just don't have the time to do this, but I mean, for you, you're busy, you're doing stuff, and you managed to squeeze it in. We're open on weekends. You can use those times to do that, and you're doing a great job. So, and then now let's see, how long has it been since you've completed it? Because I've been running it quite a bit on our education channel, and I'll tell you one thing: people are asking about it. They'll see it, they come through the lobby, they're like, "What is that?" You know, because our monitor's on in there, and it's really a great thing. But let's see, how long has it been since?
I believe that was the 17th of. I want to say January.
Yeah, that was quite.
18th of
That's
January?
right. Yeah, and we've been running it quite a bit, and we're happy to do so. We've had it even on our YouTube page. We're able to upload it to your YouTube page as well. Do you have your own channel?
I don't have the channel up yet, but I do have the website, and I'm not running it on that yet because essentially I used the game that we just did as a practice run.
As like your practice.
As a practice run. It's just a tester of what we're going to do, so that now I can show different. You know, when I want to bring it to other people who want to be a part of the project, I can show them exactly what we've done, and if I want to do different schools, I can show them exactly what I've done.
A pilot, I guess. In a way, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so they'll see it. And, I mean, I would be surprised if people were not wanting to do any more of those after seeing that.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many yeses you get once you tell someone that you can put their games on TV.
On television, it airs live. I mean, we run it live. We have a live stream that anyone could watch it at any time. Gosh, you know, parents probably want to watch it too. One of our highest rated, or at least I should say most viewed stuff is basketball too.
Oh, really?
So, you know, it really works in the benefit if you play to that too. You think about your audience then at that respect, and basketball is a big deal. We've discovered too, Fresno City College, thousands of views we've noticed when we get our stream going of that too.
For sure.
But awesome. So, talk about, I guess, the post-production. We talked a little bit about how the hard drive, we had some issues a little bit. Maybe it was the hard drive. We weren't quite sure. But even though this was recorded and it was a cut, you were cutting the shots as you go, it was essentially done. How did the editing process go when you brought it in?
Well, the editing process, I don't think I can find anyone to do this part because it's not the most fun part of the whole entire production. I have fun assembling a team. Not necessarily doing post-production, but post-production there was a lot of, I had a few technical difficulties as far as saving things on the hard drive. I had to insert the names, the lower thirds, all those things. But like I said, moving forward, all those things would be done prior in pre-production.
Gotcha.
And they're all going to be
fine-tuned.
I'm going to make sure that happens.
Yeah, I would say at least, what, 80%, 90% of it was already done.
Exactly.
You just had to add your different elements, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And speaking of that, too, your intro is really nifty, too. I like that one. Yeah, that one's awesome. Yeah, it was the clouds. And did that come from video blocks?
Yeah, it was video blocks. It was free, too. So
yeah, so for those of you who don't know, too, Video Blocks is a service that all CMAC members can use and download intros like that and get your logo. Nice hat, too, by the way.
Thank you.
Are we going to have more of those in production, perhaps, so we
maybe.
get those? Okay.
Maybe.
I would like
for the
one,
crew.
actually. Yes, please. Yeah, we'll definitely get some CMAC stuff out there, too. So,
nice.
All right. So, Alton, again, I want to thank you for the time, for being here today. And hope to see a lot more from you, and we really appreciate all the effort you put in to make a great production.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by Dustin Piontek, the producer of Reptile Dysfunction. We'll be right back. Back to members only. Joining us now is Dustin Piontek, the producer of Reptile Dysfunction. Let's take a look.
Hello everybody, my name's Dustin.
And I'm Ryan.
And welcome to another informative episode of Reptile Dysfunction. Are you excited to be here, Ryan?
Yes.
I can feel it. I can feel it. We have an exciting snake today. A new snake, right? Of course. Why would we bring the same
Specifically new snake.
A specifically new snake that is venomous.
Yes.
But not very venomous, but it's venomous. Ooh. Oh, man. These are cool snakes. These are cool snakes, Ryan. So these are Barron's racers, right?
Yeah.
Scientific name?
Phylodryas baroni.
Baroni. So
I'm looking at mine, and mine's bigger than yours, Dustin.
Yours is.
It's quite a bit bigger than yours.
That's right. So it's bizarre.
That was quite a clip there, Dustin. Thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate the time.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Out of your evening. Yeah.
No problem.
So, gosh, lots of questions.
Oh, great.
I'm sure, again, these clips are awesome we're getting in for this show. So people are probably wanting to know, what is your show and what is it about?
Well, the show is called Reptile Dysfunction, and it is about reptiles. It's basically two people who know a little bit about reptiles, talking about it, trying to educate people, and have a good time. That's
awesome. And you can clearly see it in all the episodes I've seen. Episode what now? 7, I want to say?
We're coming out with episode 7. Yeah, we have 8 episodes in. We're going to air the other one soon.
Yeah, so you're really turning those around, but there's lots to talk about, it seems like. You guys have a lot of subjects, if you will, to discuss. So with that in mind, too, we have 7 episodes. How long has it actually been on air now? I want to say, was February?
Since December, I think, was the first one, actually. Yeah, I try to do it every other week. I try to have an episode, but it doesn't always happen.
Doesn't always happen. Hey, but that's all right. Real life happens sometimes, but at least you get to it.
For example, Ryan just had a baby, so
really?
we had to postpone it for a little while.
No kidding. Okay, that'll put things back a little bit there.
So what we actually did with that is we went out in the field looking for wild snakes. And so it was me and my friend Chris, who's also a reptile lover. We went looking for snakes, and we found several, and there'll be an episode coming up.
Ooh, a little sneak preview there, a little tease.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. All right. Well, how did you come up with a concept? Has this been something you've always wanted to do? It's just taking your passion to the screen, or?
Well, I mean, to a certain point, yeah, I've always idolized the people who go on television and with the wild animals. So, you have, Jeff Corwin and Steve Irwin, all those guys were definite inspirations for me, for sure. Of course, Jack Haney, got to throw him in there, too.
Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah, exactly.
And so I always thought that was cool. And so I was at a point in my life where I wanted like a creative outlet, kind of. And I was trying to decide what I enjoy, and I enjoy comedy, and I enjoy reptiles. So I'm trying to, combine them. And I've also worked at a lot of different zoos all over the country. And they've had me go on television, local stations, bringing wild animals on. And so I kind of got comfortable with that. And I thought, what if I didn't have to be edited? What if I could say whatever I want to? I just like the freedom. I don't know. I usually don't go too crazy, but yeah, it's just the idea that we can do whatever we want, and so it allows us to do that.
Yeah, you really start to see personalities come out, and it also makes it fun for everyone, the viewer. I find that when shows are more conversational, they're not just like this, blocked out. Every line has to be said at this time. No, it's just very relaxed, very fun to watch.
We're like best friends, me and Ryan. So we like each other most of the time.
For the most part, right?
Yeah, and he's just a fountain of information, and really he's had a lot of experience. And me, I know that I can kind of fall back on him in his knowledge, where he will sometimes just say, Dustin, you've taken it too far.
Just kind of chimes in.
Calm down.
Just straight into the point, right?
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah.
Great. So, what are some challenges you face? So, just across the board, production-wise. I mean, do the animals not comply? I mean, how?
Well, there is the first episode. There was a little bit of an accident. I'll let you guys check that out. It's on demand, right? So people can watch that.
Yes, it is on demand.
It's a pretty interesting episode, and it was a good way to start the show, I thought. So that you never know what's going to happen. It's a wild animal. So. But editing is always a challenge. It's soul crushing sometimes, so I have to do that. But it's been mostly a positive thing. But of course, there's challenges.
Yeah, of course. I mean, even from the filming aspect too, I'm sure.
Yeah. Every episode, I noticed something I did wrong, and so I just try not to do that the next episode.
And that's the beauty of it too. I tell people, you could teach production to a certain extent from just like a blank slate. You could show someone a program like Premiere. You could show them how to hold the camera. But essentially what it comes down to is you just got to do it. You just got to trial and error, just start with it. And that's something I think a lot of people have to break the fears of just jumping right in. It's okay to do it.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what the crew's here doing here today too.
It's frustrating when you get in the editing bay and you see, oh, the whole thing was blurry. Like it was out of focus slightly, and it just, but then you definitely won't do the same mistake next time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But, hey, I've done this for a few years now, more than a few years, and even I make those mistakes occasionally. It's okay to do it, but
we purposely kept it really simple. We wanted to limit all the extra issues that we could possibly have. The show is about educating people about reptiles, and so I tried to find the simplest way to do that. And to me, you hear a lot about tigers and lions needing help in the wild and their numbers down, but turtles are actually the most endangered species out in the wild right now. And so you just don't have those people who specifically focus on reptiles. People are grossed out by them, they dislike them strongly. But I think it would be a much less exciting world if we didn't have reptiles.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I had one when I was younger too, and I loved it, and I've always wanted one, but I don't know, the timing to take care of it. I mean, I want to pay attention.
We do a good job.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what we're about too. We're not a pet show or anything like that. It's really, we talk about the natural history of the animal, what they do in the wild, what do they have, characteristic-wise that allows them to survive in the wild, and that usually is enough to make it somewhat interesting.
Okay, well, let's try something a little new that we've never done on the show before.
Okay.
But if you can be so kind to show us, you brought us. We have an additional guest here tonight.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it sounds like okay. We
have
have a little. So yeah,
little container
up, director.
here.
Yeah, little container. Who do we have here today?
So we have a little tiny snake here. All right. This is actually a members only, exclusive. This is a big deal, guys. This is called a Western hognose snake. These are found pretty much if you divide the United States, in half. It's the western half of the United States.
Okay.
Obviously named for that unique hognose shape, that upturned snout. They'll actually use that to dig underneath the sand and to kind of protect themselves. They have great camouflage, and they do have an interesting behavior as well, that they will play dead. They will, if they feel threatened enough, if you bother them enough. He's never done that. He's my personal snake, actually. He's very cool. But they can play dead, and they will flip up on their back and stick out their tongue, have their mouth open, and even excrete a smell that smells like a dead animal.
No kidding. So that is their defense. In a way.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are these more native to? Are they in the area here? Or?
You wouldn't really find them here,
Okay.
but they have a huge range all over the western United States for sure. They like drier areas, but it's probably a bit too hot for him here.
Oh yeah, probably a little too. Yeah, wow, look at him.
Pretty cool
So how long
snake.
have you had him for?
Only about 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So
is
he's
this
really
the
little.
only one you have? The only pet you have?
No, I have. I have a problem, Johnny.
Some of them get featured on the show too.
They eventually will all be. The box turtle was mine, but I have several reptiles that I haven't used yet. That's the thing is, people ask where we get the reptiles. I have a lot of friends who are reptile enthusiasts too. So there's over 150 different reptiles that I could actually pull from, and we could do an episode on each one of those guys.
Oh, that's great. So, and he hasn't been featured yet, has he?
Has not, no.
And
So I told you, it's exclusive.
It's exclusive to everyone
That's
here.
right.
Yeah.
He will be at some point, but not in the foreseeable future.
Okay.
Whoa, here he goes.
Oh, wow. So if it's more comfortable for you to put them away, that's fine.
Yeah,
but
we'll
if
do
you want
that.
to keep them, okay.
Okay, I'll put them back.
And we'll getting close to the end of the show here, but I do appreciate you bringing it. And I'm sorry, what's the name? We didn't get the name. Just real quick.
Well, I called him Trump.
Trump. Just for the heck of it.
I was hoping you were going to ask.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I am sorry.
It was before he became president, but anyway.
Okay. Well,
he just looks like Trump to me.
That
Got a little bit of a
that may inspire me to actually want to get into perhaps getting into the next reptile myself, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, if you have any questions.
Yeah, I'll have to reach out to you. So let's talk about the future of the episodes. Do you feel like these are going to continue for long term? Do you may mix it up? Will it kind of evolve into something new? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just going to keep chugging away and making slight adjustments to make it the best show we can. Like I said, we're trying to do more things out in the field. So we went up to Madera and actually looked around, found like a California king snake and a gopher snake, all these cool snakes. And we're planning a desert trip too. So hopefully find some rattlesnakes.
Nice.
So I mean, we could go to zoos, we could do different things. It's all about reptiles, so we have to just center that around that. But whatever we do around that is up to us.
It's going to be up to you, and hopefully we can be of some help to you, be a resource for.
Yeah, it's really, I don't think, definitely wouldn't have happened without CMAC and the equipment, being able to take it out in the field and rent it out. It's amazing.
Well, awesome. I really enjoy the show. I'm sure a lot of people are going to enjoy it too. And now that they've seen this, especially, we're going to have this up on YouTube and all the information necessary. Cool. So, is there any last thoughts or anything you'd like to plug for the show, or?
Check out the show, you know, learn about snakes, learn about reptiles.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we're just getting to the end of the show here, so that'll wrap it up today. Thanks again, Dustin, for being here. Appreciate your time.
Thanks.
And if you'd like to see more about the shows we've talked about today, you can look for them on CMAC's channels, Xfinity 93, as well as Uverse 99. If you don't have Comcast Xfinity or AT&T Uverse, you can go to cmac.tv to watch the live stream under the Watch tab. Thanks again to our guests Alton Williams and Dustin Piontek, and thank you for joining us. We will see you next time.